Rebirth in the Brocade Tent, the Heiress's Counterattack. Chapter 1. The Inauspicious Hour of Rebirth. When the sound of wedding music flooded her ears like a tide, Jiang Ning's eyes snapped open. The gauzy curtains of the carved wooden canopy bed swayed, making her dizzy. The cloying scent of osmanthus honey from a sweet soup still lingered at the tip of her nose. It was that very bowl of sweet soup, laced with a stupefying drug, that had caused her to fall into an unwakeable slumber on her wedding day in her past life. She remembered to this day, just before her consciousness had faded, the whisper her half-sister, Jiang Wanru, had breathed into her ear. "Little sister, the position of the Marquis's wife should have been mine." Later, she had awoken in a side hall of the ancestral temple, rushing towards the Zhenan Marquis estate like a madwoman, only to see Jiang Wanru wearing her wedding dress, standing shoulder to shoulder with Xiao Yuheng, accepting congratulations from the guests. She had made a scene at the wedding hall, only to be framed by Jiang Wanru, who accused her of being consumed by jealousy. In the end, the stubborn elders of the clan had confined her to the ancestral temple for lacking virtue, forcing her to copy scriptures day and night to atone. "Second young lady, you're awake?" Her personal maid, Cuillere, hurried over upon seeing her sit up, a look of pleasant surprise on her face. In her hands, she held a silver hairpin adorned with interlocking lotus vines. "The auspicious hour is almost upon us. Your mother is urging you to have your makeup done. Just now, she said this hairpin was bestowed by His Majesty for your coming-of-age ceremony, and it's perfect to wear today." Jiang Ning pressed her forehead, deliberately feigning dizziness. "Why did I sleep for so long? Just now, elder sister brought me a bowl of sweet soup, saying it was something to calm the nerves. I drank it and soon felt weak all over, my eyelids too heavy to lift." As she spoke, she covertly observed Cuillere's expression. Cuillere had been raised by her mother and was fiercely loyal to her. In her past life, it was Cuillere who had secretly brought food to her in the ancestral temple, allowing her to survive those days. Before her words fully faded, the joyful cry of the matchmaker sounded from outside. The bride boards the sedan chair, accompanied by the crisp crackle of firecrackers. Throwing aside the bed curtains, she strode out of the room and straight into the astonished gazes of a courtyard full of guests. Dozens of round tables were set up in the yard, laden with fruit plates and melon seeds. The guests, teacups still in hand, stared at her as one. "Ninger, why are you still here?" Madame Jiang was the first to rush over, grasping her daughter's hand, her fingertips icy cold. "Then who is in the bridal sedan? Where is your wedding dress?" Madame Jiang wore a pomegranate red brocade jacket woven with gold thread today, her hair adorned with a gold and ruby headdress. A joyous outfit, but now her face was as pale as paper. Jiang Ning rubbed her temples, perfectly displaying a confused and wronged expression. "Daughter doesn't know. Elder sister said she brought me sweet soup to nourish me. I drank it and fell asleep. Has the auspicious hour arrived already? But my wedding dress." She looked down at her own moon-white plain silk skirt, embroidered only with a few small orchid blossoms, utterly out of place amidst the festive atmosphere. Tears instantly welled up in her eyes. "My wedding dress was clearly placed by the dressing table. How has it disappeared?" Behind the crowd, concubine Liu turned deathly pale, quietly retreating and hiding behind a servant in a blue cloth robe. She wore a water-green silk skirt today, but her hair was adorned with a pearl hairpin of exceptional quality. Clearly, she had dressed with care. Sharp-eyed, Cuillere rushed over and blocked her path. "Concubine Liu, when the eldest young lady brought the sweet soup earlier, weren't you right beside her? You even said you stewed the soup yourself. How is it that second young lady fell into a deep sleep after drinking it?" I didn't," Concubine Liu stammered, her eyes shifting evasively towards Lord Jiang as she tried to squeeze out a few tears. "Master, Wanru is also your daughter. She has been utterly devoted to the Marquis of Zhenan ever since she caught a glimpse of him at the flower viewing banquet when she was 15 and could never forget him. Please let her have her wish. Once married into the Marquis estate, she will surely bear heirs and continue the lineage." "Let her have her wish?" Madame Jiang trembled with rage, pointing a finger at concubine Liu's nose. "Drugging her legitimate younger sister into unconsciousness, stealing her wedding dress and usurping her marriage. How does that deserve to be called having her wish? You and your daughter have thoroughly shamed the Jiang family's name. Where is Jiang Wanru? Someone, go check her room. Drag her out here for me. Two burly servants immediately ran towards the west wing. Moments later, they stumbled back, their voices trembling. Madam, the eldest young lady. The eldest young lady is not in her room. Even her personal maid, Chun Tao, is gone. And second young lady's wedding dress, phoenix coronet, and ceremonial robes, they're all gone too. Only a silver hairpin was left on the dressing table. Heavens, could the one in the bridal sedan be Jiang Wanru? Madame Wang, seated in the front row, exclaimed in shock, her handkerchief falling to the ground. Wasn't she sent back by the Sun family in disgrace less than half a month ago? Master Sun privately mentioned that in over a year of marriage, she showed no sign of pregnancy. Several imperial physicians were consulted, all to no avail. If she marries into the Marquis estate, will the Dowager Marchioness tolerate her? Exactly, Madame Li beside her chimed in, her eyes full of schadenfreude. I hear the Dowager Marchioness values heirs above all else, and the Marquis of Jinan is the only son. How could he possibly marry a woman who cannot bear children? Lord Jiang, you must investigate this matter thoroughly. Don't let the Marquis estate think your Jiang family intentionally deceived them. The whispers pricked Concubine Lu's heart like needles. She collapsed to the ground, still attempting to defend herself, but was kicked aside by Lord Jiang. Vile woman, if not for your scheming behind the scenes, how would a recently disgraced and divorced concubine-born daughter dare to be so brazen? Guards, bind Concubine Lu and lock her in the woodshed. Seizing the moment, Jiang Ning knelt before Lord Jiang, tears streaming down her face. Father, let it be. Since elder sister loves the Marquis and resorted to such methods, she must have been desperate. I am willing to yield this marriage to her. She prostrated herself on the ground, shoulders trembling slightly, appearing utterly pitiful. She paused, her voice choked, yet clear enough to reach every corner of the courtyard. Elder sister has already been divorced once for being barren. If we make another scene, how will she ever face people again? If word spreads, people will only say she is shameless, even stealing her younger sister's marriage. The Jiang family's reputation will also suffer. Her words caused an uproar. The secret of Jiang Wanru's infertility was originally a Jiang family scandal. Lord Jiang had specifically ordered the servants not to spread it. Now, with Jiang Ning announcing it publicly, it was like tearing off the last fig leaf. Madame Jiang hugged her daughter and wept. Silly child, this is your marriage. Why should you yield it to her? Your mother will never let you suffer this injustice. The Marquis estate is supposed to marry you. Even if she boarded the sedan, as long as the wedding ceremony hasn't taken place, it doesn't count. Jiang Ning secretly pinched herself, crying even harder. Mother, think of the bigger picture. The bridal procession departed half an hour ago. The journey from our home to the Marquis estate takes only about that long. They must have already entered the Marquis estate gates by now. Stopping it now would cause both the Marquis estate and the Jiang family to lose all face. I accept it. At most, I'll never marry and will stay by your and father's side. She had calculated correctly. At this very moment, within the walls of the Jinan Marquis estate, red silk adorned every surface. Guests filled the seats. Xiao Jingyuan held the red silk leading the bride, standing before the ancestral altar, ready to bow. Chapter 2. The shocking ceremony at the Marquis estate. First bow to heaven and earth. The matchmaker's voice drew out, loud and clear. Behind the red veil, Jiang Wenru's heart pounded wildly, her palms slick with sweat. She could sense Xiao Jingyuan's presence beside her, the man she had loved since her maiden years. At the flower viewing banquet when she was 15, Xiao Jingyuan, clad in a moon-white brocade robe, had been wielding a brush amidst the peonies. That one fleeting glimpse had etched itself in her memory for 5 years. Later, she had schemed tirelessly to marry him, only to be married off by her father to the Sun family's young master. The result, over a year without a child, leading to a merciless divorce. This time, she had finally seized her chance. Once they bowed, she would be the rightful Marchioness of Jinan, no longer the pointed-at, discarded woman. Just as the two began to bend at the waist, The Marquis estate's heavy vermilion lacquered main gates were suddenly thrown open with a crash. Lord Jiang stormed in with over a dozen servants armed with wooden clubs, their faces fierce. "Stop!" shouted Jingyuan. "You cannot perform this ceremony." The entire hall fell silent instantly, even the matchmaker's voice cutting off abruptly. Guests turned to look at the entrance, faces full of shock. The Dowager Marchioness, seated in the place of honor, frowned, the Buddhist prayer beads in her hand ceasing their motion. Xiao Jingyuan turned with a scowl. "Lord Jiang, today is this Marquis's joyous day. Have you brought your servants to force your way in and cause trouble?" He wore a grand red brocade robe today, a jade belt at his waist, his hair bound with a gold crown. His handsome face was displeased. Panic surged in Jiang Wanru's heart. Instinctively, she tried to retreat, but Xiao Jingyuan grabbed her wrist. The pain made her gasp involuntarily. Sensing something amiss, Xiao Jingyuan reached out and yanked off her red veil. Seeing that familiar yet now unwanted face, Xiao Jingyuan's expression changed drastically. "Jiang Wanru, why is it you? Where is Ninger? What have you done to Ninger?" "Brother Jingyuan, Jiang Wanru tried to summon tears, looking at him with reddened eyes. "My feelings for you are genuine. Younger sister Ning, she knows I love you. She willingly yielded the marriage to me. She said she doesn't like life in a Marquis estate." "Nonsense." Madame Jiang, who had followed close behind, charged in, pointing a finger at Jiang Wanru's nose. "You drugged my daughter unconscious, stole her wedding dress and her marriage, and now you dare to twist the truth here? The Jiang family has no such shameless daughter. If you don't hand over my daughter today, I won't let this rest." As she spoke, Madame Jiang tried to tear at Jiang Wanru's clothes, but was held back by servants. The Dowager Marchioness walked out, leaning on her cane, her face dark as stormy water. Her cane thumped loudly on the ground. "Lord Jiang, what is the meaning of this? Our Marquis estate arranged a proper marriage with the Jiang family's legitimate daughter, Jiang Ning, not with this divorced, concubine-born daughter of yours. You must give our Marquis estate an explanation today, or do not blame me for being impolite." The Dowager Marchioness wore a deep purple, gold-woven jacket, a gold forehead ornament adorned with a pigeon's blood ruby on her head. Her aura was commanding. "Your ladyship, please be discerning." Lord Jiang bowed. "My younger daughter, Ninger, was drugged unconscious in her room by this unfilial girl. She took the opportunity to steal the wedding dress and replace the bride. This is entirely due to my lax discipline of the Jiang family. I beg the Marquis estate for forgiveness. I have already sent people to fetch Ninger. She will arrive shortly." Desperate, Jiang Wanru clutched Xiao Jingyuan's sleeve, her nails nearly digging into his skin. "Brother Jingyuan, I truly love you. If I marry you, I will serve you and the Dowager Marchioness well. I'll learn to cook your favorite dishes, help you manage the estate affairs." "Enough." Xiao Jingyuan shook off her hand, his gaze icy. "Do you think this Marquise would marry a woman who uses underhanded methods to steal a marriage and is also barren? Guards, drive her out. Throw her into the dilapidated temple outside the city walls. Never allow her to set foot in the capital again." The words barren struck Jiang Wanru's heart like a heavy hammer. She collapsed to the floor, looking at Xiao Jingyuan in disbelief. You already knew? Who told you? Was it Jiang Ning? She's just jealous of me, deliberately ruining my reputation." The news of Jiang Wanru's divorce has long been circulating in the capital. "This Marquis simply didn't expect you to be so shameless." Xiao Jingyuan's words were full of scorn. "Jiang family, you must give this Marquis an account of this matter. Otherwise, the marriage alliance between our two families is hereby cancelled." Lord Jiang's face turned ashen. He waved his hand. "Drag this unfilial wretch away. Take her back to the estate and keep her under strict guard." Two servants stepped forward, hoisting the wailing, struggling Jiang Wanru. She thrashed and shouted, "Xiao Jingyuan, I won't let you off. Jiang Ning, just you wait." Her voice grew fainter and fainter, finally disappearing beyond the Marquis estate gates. The Marquis estate's joyous feast had turned into a farce. Guests whispered and murmured, some shaking their heads in lament, others chuckling quietly. The Dowager Marchioness was so angry she felt a tightness in her chest. Supported by a maid, she sat down, taking a sip of tea before catching her breath. Jingyuan, we cannot let this marriage end like this. The Jiang family's legitimate daughter, Jiang Ning, I have met her a few times. She is comely in appearance and gentle in temperament, a worthy match for you. What do you think? Xiao Jingyuan recalled the gentle and virtuous Jiang Ning from his past life, how she had managed the entire Marquis estate for him, arranging everything in perfect order, even caring for him tirelessly day and night when he was ill, and the image of her in agony giving birth to his child. A slight stir moved in his heart. Mother, Jiang Ning is innocent. If the Jiang family is willing, I wish to go personally to the Jiang residence to propose marriage, bring her over in a grand 8-carriage procession, and give her a glorious wedding. The Dowager Marchioness nodded. Very well. However, this matter has become the talk of the town. You must go quickly to avoid complications and someone else seizing the opportunity. She paused, then added, also, that unfilial girl Zhang Wanru cannot be let off so easily. She must understand the consequences of disrupting the Marquis estate's marriage. Meanwhile, back at the Jiang residence, Jiang Ning sat by the window, listening to Quier recount the farce at the Marquis estate. Quier had followed Madame Jiang there and rushed back to report eagerly. Young lady, you didn't see it. When the servants dragged eldest young lady away, her hair was all disheveled, utterly wretched. The Marquis didn't even glance at her. He even said he would come personally to our house to propose, Quier said excitedly. A cold smile tugged at the corner of Jiang Ning's lips. Xiao Jingyuan, Jiang Wanro, what you owed me in the past life, I will reclaim bit by bit in this one. She picked up the teacup from the table, took a sip, her eyes calm and unruffled. Xiao Jingyuan's proposal? She would not be so foolish as to agree easily, as she had in her past life. Chapter 3. A chance encounter at the prince's banquet. Jiang Wanro and concubine Liu were locked in the woodshed, weeping day after day. The woodshed was dark and damp, with a pile of dry straw in the corner and mice scurrying across the floor. Concubine Liu sat on the straw, crying and cursing. It's all because of you, useless girl. I went to such great lengths to plan for you. How could you mess it up? Now look, both of us are locked in here, destined to starve to death sooner or later. Zhang Wanru retorted with equal venom. It was your terrible idea. You said drugging Jiang Ning and taking her place would succeed. And the result? Exposed on the spot, utterly humiliated. If it weren't for you, how could I have ended up like this? They went back and forth, from mutual accusation to physically clawing at each other, until finally, exhausted, they slumped on the ground, panting heavily. Lord Jiang initially wanted to expel them from the estate, but Jiang Ning persuaded him otherwise. Father, family ugliness should not be publicized. If we drive them out, they will certainly spread malicious rumors outside, saying the Jiang family mistreats concubine-born daughters, which would only harm our reputation further. It's better to keep them confined for now. After some time, we can send them to a remote manor, severing their ties to the capital. That would bring peace and quiet. Lord Jiang found her reasoning sound and agreed. He looked at his daughter, eyes full of guilt. Ninger, father has wronged you, making you suffer such great injustice. Regarding the Marquis estate, father will seek justice for you. Jiang Ning shook her head. Father, it's not your fault. It was their own insatiable greed. In her heart, however, she knew keeping Jiang Wanru could still be of great use. A few days later, Xiao Jingyuan indeed came personally to propose marriage. He brought lavish betrothal gifts, 80 full carriers in total, stretching from the Jiang residence gate all the way to the street corner. There were gold jewelry, top-quality silks and satins, rare medicinal herbs, and even several fine steeds. Madame Jiang was overjoyed, eagerly agreeing and pulling Xiao Jingyuan's hand to chat with him. Jiang Ning, however, deliberately hesitated. My Lord Marquis, the incident a few days ago has become the talk of the town. Everyone in the capital is saying I had my marriage stolen by my half-sister. If I were to marry into your estate now, I fear people would gossip, saying no one else wanted me, that I'm desperately marrying into the Marquis estate, and that would implicate your family's reputation. She lowered her head, fingers twisting her skirt, appearing deeply troubled. Seeing her delicate and vulnerable demeanor, Xiao Jingyuan felt even more pity for her. Ninger, this matter has nothing to do with you. It was entirely Jiang Wanru's fault. This Marquis promises you, once you marry into the Marquis estate, I will definitely not let you suffer the slightest grievance. Whoever dares to gossip about you, I will be the first to deal with them." As he spoke, he even grasped Jiang Ning's hand, his gaze sincere. Jiang Ning lowered her head, hiding the mockery in her eyes. "I understand your intentions, my lord. However, allow me to think it over. After all, marriage is a lifelong matter. It cannot be decided hastily." She needed to buy time and also find a way out for herself. In her past life, Xiao Jingyuan had been willing to cut open her belly alive for the sake of a child. Even if she changed her approach in this life, she might not receive his genuine affection. She had no intention of repeating past mistakes. Several days later, the Princess Royal hosted a flower viewing banquet, and the Jiang family received an invitation. The Princess Royal was the current emperor's younger sister, a figure of esteemed status. Her flower viewing banquets were events noble daughters throughout the capital scrambled to attend. Jiang Ning knew this was not only a grand gathering for noble daughters, but also an excellent opportunity for her to seek new prospects. The banquet was held in the imperial gardens of the Princess Royal's estate. Within the gardens, hundreds of flowers vied in beauty: peonies, herbaceous peonies, roses, jasmine blooming in a lively display. Guests gathered in clouds, including daughters of princes, dukes, and nobles, as well as family members of high-ranking court officials. Jiang Ning wore a lotus root-colored jacket embroidered with peonies over a moon-white gauze skirt. Her hair was styled in a simple yet elegant hanging chignon, adorned with a single jade hairpin and pearl earrings, appearing refined and graceful. She was standing by a peony bush admiring the flowers when she suddenly heard a commotion behind her. "How dare you push me? I am the daughter of the Minister of Rights. How dare you push me?" A shrill, arrogant voice rang out. The speaker was Li Yanran, daughter of Minister Li. She wore a bright pink dress, her hair piled with jeweled hairpins, looking utterly ostentatious. "You were the one who carelessly bumped into me, yet you blame me?" A cool male voice responded, pleasant to hear, yet carrying a hint of aloofness. Jiang Ning turned to see a young man in white standing there. His brows and eyes were refined and cool, his bearing exceptional. It was none other than Prince Jing, Xiao Yuji, the emperor's younger brother. Xiao Yuji was known for keeping a low profile and rarely attended such banquets. It was unclear why he had come today. "Your Highness Prince Jing, how can you be so rude to me?" Li Yanran persisted, reaching out to grab Xiao Yuji's sleeve. Xiao Yuji frowned, sidestepping her. Just as he was about to speak, Jiang Ning stepped forward, smiling to mediate. "Miss Li, His Highness Prince Jing likely did not mean it. Today is the Princess Royal's flower viewing banquet. If a commotion arises, it would spoil Her Highness's enjoyment. If the princess were to take offense, none of us could bear the responsibility." Li Yanran recognized Jiang Ning and curled her lip disdainfully. "Second young lady Jiang, this is none of your business. Stay out of it." She knew about Jiang Ning's recent marriage scandal and somewhat looked down on her. "How is it none of my business?" Jiang Ning's smile remained unchanged. "I saw clearly just now that you, Miss Li, were chasing that colorful butterfly and bumped into His Highness. His Highness did not blame you, yet you falsely accuse him. If this were to reach the Princess Royal's ears, she might fault you for lacking propriety and never invite you to another banquet again." Li Yanran's face changed color. Attending various banquets was her greatest concern. Not daring to say more, she shot Xiao Yuji a glare and turned to storm off in a huff. Xiao Yuji looked at Jiang Ning, a flicker of appreciation in his eyes. "Thank you, second young lady Jiang, for diffusing the situation." "You are too courteous, Your Highness." Jiang Ning gave a slight curtsy. "It was merely a small effort." The two stood side by the flower bushes, chatting about the art of flower arrangement. Xiao Yuji hadn't expected Jiang Ning to be not only well-versed in literature and propriety, but also quite knowledgeable about plants and flowers. This Yao Huang peony was bestowed upon the Princess Royal by His Majesty last year. I hear it comes from Luoyang and is a rare variety. Jiang Ning pointed to a yellow peony. To make it bloom well, one must use leaf mold soil and be careful with watering, not too much. Xiao Yuji nodded. "I didn't expect second young lady Zhang to be so knowledgeable about horticulture. My own residence also cultivates some peonies, but I never seem to manage them well. I shall have to seek your advice sometime." The two conversed pleasantly, chatting for nearly half an hour without realizing it. Not far away, Xiao Jingyuan watched this scene, his face darkening. He had also been invited to the banquet today, hoping to find an opportunity to speak more with Jiang Ning. Instead, he saw her chatting so happily with Prince Jing. He hadn't anticipated Jiang Ning would grow so close to Prince Jing. An inexplicable feeling of irritation rose in his heart, and he clenched his fists tightly. Chapter 4. Wanru's Uproar at the Marquis Estate. After the flower viewing banquet, Xiao Jingyuan became even more attentive towards Jiang Ning, sending various rare gifts to the Jiang residents daily. One day it was a box of the finest rouge and powder, the next a bolt of rare cloud-patterned brocade, the day after some novel trinkets. Jiang Ning, however, merely accepted them politely, instructing Quier to record them in the ledger, and never agreed to his proposal. Jiang Wanro, locked in the woodshed, learned of this and was driven mad with jealousy. From the servants guarding the woodshed, she found out about Xiao Jingyuan's countless attentions to Jiang Ning, fueling her resentment further. Why? Why does Jiang Ning deserve Brother Jingyuan's affection? In what way am I inferior to her? She cried and raged in the woodshed, venting all her bitterness on Concubine Liu. Concubine Liu also hated Jiang Ning for ruining her and her daughter's future. She leaned close to Jiang Wanru's ear and whispered, "Daughter, we cannot accept this fate. Find a way to escape, then go make another scene at the Marquis estate. Perhaps the Marquis will remember past affections and change his mind. Even if you cannot become the Marchioness, becoming a concubine is better than starving to death in this woodshed." A gleam lit up Jiang Wanru's eyes. She found Concubine Liu's words reasonable. She began pretending to be docile, ceasing her tantrums, even smiling at the guarding servants. A few days later, when a servant brought food, she deliberately knocked over the bowl. As the servant bent to pick it up, she shoved him aside and dashed out. The servant reacted and gave chase, but was quickly left behind. Jiang Wanru ran all the way to the Zhenan Marquis estate. Her clothes were tattered, hair disheveled, face smudged with dust, a truly wretched sight. Reaching the estate gates, she began wailing and causing a scene. "I want to see Xiao Jingyuan. I am his betrothed. Let me in." Servants barred her way, not daring to let her enter. "Who are you? How dare you cause trouble at the Marquis estate gates?" The leading servant shouted. "I am Jiang Wanru, the Marquis's betrothed." Jiang Wanru yelled, "Let me in now, or I'll dash myself to death against these gates." With that, she lunged towards the heavy doors. The servants hastily grabbed her, causing a commotion. Hearing the news, the Dowager Marchioness trembled with rage. Supported by a maid, she walked to the entrance. "This shameless creature dares to cause trouble at the Marquis estate again? Drive her out! Beat her out! Let her know the Marquis estate is not a place she can come to as she pleases." "Dowager Marchioness, my feelings for Brother Jingyuan are genuine." Jiang Wanru, beaten and bruised by the servants, still refused to leave, lying on the ground and weeping. "I know I was wrong. I am willing to work like an ox or a horse to serve you and Brother Jingyuan. I beg you, let me stay at the estate. I can do any work, washing clothes, cooking, cleaning. I can do it all." Xiao Jingyuan, hearing the noise, came out. Seeing Jiang Wanru's wretched state, his eyes filled with disgust. "Who let you come here? Get lost. This Marquis never wants to see you again." "Brother Jingyuan, you cannot treat me like this." Jiang Wanru lunged forward, clinging to Xiao Jingyuan's leg. "For you, I even betrayed my own sister. How can you be so heartless? Have you forgotten? When we were children, we flew kites together. You said you would protect me. Betray your sister? How dare you mention Ninger?" Xiao Jingyuan sneered, kicking her away. "Childhood matters. This Marquis forgot long ago. Do you think I would believe your lies? Guards, drag her to the dilapidated temple outside the city. Never allow her to step foot in the capital again." As she was dragged away, Jiang Wanru wailed shrilly. "Xiao Jingyuan, Jiang Ning, may you die horrible deaths. I won't let you off. Even as a ghost, I won't let you off." The farce at the Marquis estate spread through the capital once more, affecting the Jiang family's reputation. Commoners on the streets gossiped about the Jiang family affairs, saying the concubine-born daughter was shameless, failing to steal the marriage and then causing trouble at the Marquis estate. Lord Jiang fell ill from anger, confined to his bed. Madame Jiang wept, pleading with Jiang Ning. Ninger, please agree to the Marquis estate's proposal. Otherwise, our Jiang family is finished. Your father's official career will also be affected. Seeing her mother's haggard appearance, Jiang Ning felt a pang of sympathy. But she knew she could not agree lightly. She comforted her, "Mother, don't worry. I have my own plans." She sent someone to inquire about Jiang Wanru's whereabouts. Learning she had been dumped at the dilapidated temple outside the city, she secretly had someone send her some food and money. She intended to keep Jiang Wanru, to make her a pawn in her own game against Xiao Jingyuan. At the same time, Jiang Ning began frequent interactions with Xiao Yuji. Xiao Yuji actively invited her to a bookstore to read. They spent an entire afternoon there, perusing numerous collections of poetry and verse. He also invited her to a tea house to listen to operas, ordering her favorite piece, the Peony Pavilion. Xiao Yuji was gentle and refined as jade, treating others with humility, always speaking softly and kindly, a stark contrast to Xiao Jingyuan's cold selfishness. Gradually, Jiang Ning realized she was developing genuine feelings for Xiao Yuji. One day, Xiao Yuji escorted Jiang Ning back to the Jiang residence. At the gate, he handed her a small wooden box. "This is a little trinket I made myself for you." Jiang Ning opened it to find a small, exquisitely carved wooden rabbit inside. "Thank you, Your Highness," Jiang Ning said, a blush coloring her cheeks, warmth spreading in her heart. Xiao Yuji looked at her smile, his gaze soft. "I'm glad you like it. When you have time, I'll take you to other places." Chapter 5. Jingyuan's Regret. Xiao Jingyuan noticed Jiang Ning and Xiao Yuji growing closer, and his irritation turned into panic. He sent people to investigate and learned they often visited bookstores and tea houses together, even strolling through the market. He began to realize he might truly lose Jiang Ning. He visited the Jiang residence again, finding Jiang Ning, his tone carrying a hint of urgency. "Ninger, what must I do for you to agree to marry me? Just say the word, and whatever you desire, this Marquis will give it to you. If you want jewels and ornaments, I'll buy you the most precious ones. If you want fertile land and fine estates, I'll give them to you. If you want to manage the Marquis estate's household finances, I can agree to that too." Jiang Ning looked at him, her gaze calm. "My lord Marquis, what I want, you cannot give." "What is it? Tell me. As long as it's within this Marquis's power, I will certainly fulfill it." Xiao Jingyuan pressed, his face full of anxiety. "I want a lifetime with one devoted partner. I want genuine mutual affection, not to be treated like an object, cherished when useful, discarded when not." Jiang Ning's words cut into Xiao Jingyuan's heart like a knife. She remembered her past life, how Xiao Jingyuan, to allow Jiang Wanru to bear a child, had disregarded her life and cut open her belly alive. That pain was something she could never forget in this lifetime. He recalled his own actions towards Jiang Ning in his past life, and for the first time, regret stirred in his heart. He opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but found himself at a loss for words. He truly could not offer Jiang Ning genuine affection. His desire to marry her was solely because she could bear children and continue the Marquis estate's lineage. At that moment, Jiang Wanru suddenly burst in. Her clothes were ragged, hair wild, and in her hand, she clutched a dagger stolen from the incense altar in the dilapidated temple. "Jiang Ning, I'll kill you. You vile woman, you've destroyed everything for me." Everyone was stunned. Jiang Wanru charged straight at Jiang Ning, her eyes maddened. Xiao Jingyuan instinctively stepped in front of Jiang Ning. The dagger plunged into Xiao Jingyuan's arm. Blood instantly gushed forth, staining his brocade robe crimson. "Seize her!" Lord Jiang rushed out from his room, roaring. He had been recuperating but came out upon hearing the commotion. Servants swarmed forward, subduing Jiang Wanru and wresting the dagger from her grasp. Xiao Jingyuan clutched his wound, looking at Jiang Ning with a trace of hope in his eyes. "Ninger, see, I was injured for you. Don't you think you should give me a chance?" Jiang Ning merely looked at him coldly. "My lord Marquis, this was your own choice. It has nothing to do with me." She felt not a shred of gratitude. The wounds from her past life ran too deep to be healed by a mere injury. She turned her gaze to Jiang Wanru, her voice icy. Jiang Wanru, you have repeatedly refused to mend your ways and now dare to assault someone with a blade. Father, we can no longer be lenient. Hand her over to the authorities. Let the government deal with her. Lord Jiang nodded. Good. Guards, take her to the magistrate's office. As she was dragged away, Jiang Wanru screamed insanely. Xiao Jingyuan, you fool! Jiang Ning doesn't love you at all. You are a laughing stock, Jiang Ning. Don't you gloat. You won't come to a good end either. Watching Jiang Ning's indifferent back, Xiao Jingyuan's heart turned completely cold. He knew he had truly lost her. Clutching his wound, he left the Jiang residence in a daze. Not long after, Prince Jing, Xiao Yuji, proposed to the Jiang family. His betrothal gifts, though not as numerous as Xiao Jingyuan's, were each chosen with care. Paintings he had done himself, poems he had written, and some rare ancient texts. Lord Jiang and Madame Jiang were highly satisfied with Xiao Yuji. Not only was his status noble, but his character was gentle and kind, and his feelings for Jiang Ning were sincere. They happily agreed to the marriage. On the wedding day, the Prince Jing's residence was adorned with lanterns and decorations, brimming with joy. Red silk hung in every corner, lanterns lit up, the entire estate resembling a sea of red. Xiao Yuji, wearing a grand red brocade robe, held Jiang Ning's hand, his gaze tender. Ninger, for the rest of our lives, I will never fail you. Jiang Ning, dressed in the formal red phoenix coronet and ceremonial robes, squeezed his hand in return, a genuine smile gracing her face. And I will never fail you. Meanwhile, in the Zhenan Marquis estate, Xiao Jingyuan sat alone in the empty bridal chamber, staring at the red silk on the walls, his heart filled with regret and remorse. He finally understood. Some things once lost could never be reclaimed. The Dowager Marchioness entered, seeing his despondent state, and sighed. Jingyuan, this was your own choice. From now on, focus on properly managing the Marquis estate. Don't dwell on what could have been. Jiang Wanru, for assault with a weapon, was sentenced to exile 3,000 li, banished to the frontier to serve as a slave. Concubine Lu was also expelled from the Jiang family by Lord Jiang. She vanished without a trace. Some said she went to the countryside. Others whispered she fell ill and died. Chapter 6. Early Days in the Prince's Residence. After marrying Xiao Yuji, Jiang Ning's life was filled with happiness. The rules at the Prince Jing residence were not as strict as those in a Marquis estate, and the servants were all kind. Xiao Yuji doted on her immensely, indulging her in every way. Each morning, he would personally bring her water to wash her face and have breakfast with her. After the morning meal, they would either take a stroll in the gardens together or read and practice calligraphy in the study. Jiang Ning took charge of managing the household affairs of the prince's residence. She brought everything into perfect order, establishing detailed accounts, meticulously recording every expense. If servants encountered difficulties, she would do her best to help. Soon, everyone in the residence held her in high regard and respect. One day, Jiang Ning was in the study checking the household accounts when Xiao Yuji walked in, embracing her from behind. Ninger, what keeps you so busy? Jiang Ning turned her head, smiling. Checking this month's accounts. Expenditures were a bit high this month. I need to calculate carefully. Xiao Yuji glanced at the account book. You work too hard. Actually, you don't need to tire yourself like this. You can leave it to the steward. Jiang Ning shook her head. The steward is capable, but some matters are better overseen personally. Besides, this is part of my duty. Xiao Yuji leaned down and kissed her forehead. You, are simply too capable. Come, let me take you somewhere nice. He took Jiang Ning's hand and led her out of the residence. Xiao Yuji took Jiang Ning to a farmstead outside the city. The farm was planted with various vegetables and fruits, and there was also a vast flower field. I purchased this place last year. We can come here to relax in our spare time, Xiao Yuji said, handing her a basket. Let's go pick some fruit. They entered the orchard, where apples, pears, and grapes hung ripe. Jiang Ning plucked a bunch of grapes and put one in her mouth. It was sweet and juicy. Seeing her enjoy it, a smile also appeared on Xiao Yuji's face. They picked a full basket of fruit before returning to the cottage on the farm. The cottage was cozy, furnished with a table, chairs, and a small stove. Xiao Yuji personally lit the fire and brewed a cup of hot tea for Jiang Ning. Sitting by the stove, sipping tea, eating fruit, and chatting, they felt utterly content. Ninger, in your past life at the Jiang residence, were you unhappy? Xiao Yuji suddenly asked. He had heard about Jiang Ning's marriage being stolen and felt a pang of heartache for her. Jiang Ning was silent for a moment. There were indeed unhappy times before, but it's all right now, with you by my side. She leaned against Xiao Yuji's shoulder, feeling his warmth. Xiao Yuji held her tightly. From now on, I will always stay with you, making you happy forever. Chapter 7. Whirlwind in the Palace. Time passed, and it had been half a year since Jiang Ning married into the Prince Jing residence. News came from the palace that the empress was hosting a palace banquet, inviting the families of princes, dukes, and nobles. Jiang Ning knew that palace banquets were a mix of all sorts, inevitably filled with covert struggles. She needed to tread carefully. On the day of the banquet, Jiang Ning wore a formal red, gold-woven jacket over a pink gauze skirt. Her hair was adorned with a gold and ruby phoenix hairpin, appearing dignified and noble. Xiao Yuji, clad in a dark blue brocade robe, accompanied her into the palace. The banquet was held in the Hall of Supreme Harmony. The hall was brilliantly lit, tables laden with sumptuous dishes. The empress sat in the place of honor, dressed in magnificent phoenix robes, a smile on her face. Princes, nobles, and their families sat on either side, exchanging greetings. Jiang Ning had just taken her seat when she felt a hostile gaze upon her. Looking up, she saw it was Li Yanran. Dressed in a purple gown, Li Yanran was glaring at her venomously. Jiang Ning ignored her, calmly sipping her tea. After the banquet began, the empress invited the noble young ladies to showcase their talents. Li Yanran was the first to step forward, performing a dance. Her dancing was skillful but overly flamboyant, lacking a sense of subtle beauty. The empress merely smiled faintly, offering no particular praise. Subsequently, other young ladies performed their talents, playing the qin, singing, composing poetry. When it was Jiang Ning's turn, she stood up and said, "This humble consort would like to paint a picture for Your Majesty the Empress." The empress nodded. "Very well, let Princess Jiang proceed." Jiang Ning walked to the table, picked up a brush, and began to paint. She painted a peony scene. The peonies in the painting bloomed with dignified elegance, vivid and lifelike. Her brushwork was skilled, lines fluid. She finished in no time. The empress looked at it and praised it highly. "Princess Jiang paints exquisitely. These peonies look as real as life itself. A reward." Palace maids immediately brought forth a tray of jewels bestowed upon Jiang Ning. Seeing Jiang Ning receive the empress's reward, Li Yanran grew even more jealous. An idea struck her. She walked up to Jiang Ning and said, "Since Princess Jiang paints so well, why not perform another act for everyone? I hear Princess Jiang is skilled at chess. How about we play a game?" Jiang Ning knew Li Yanran harbored ill intentions, but could not easily refuse, so she agreed. The two sat at the chess table and began their game. Li Yanran's chess skills were decent, but Jiang Ning's were superior. Before long, Li Yanran was at a disadvantage. Growing anxious, Li Yanran secretly moved a chess piece when Jiang Ning wasn't looking. Jiang Ning saw it but did not expose her directly, only saying calmly, "Miss Li, chess requires fairness and integrity. Secretly moving pieces like this is not proper." Li Yanran's face flushed red instantly. I didn't mean to." The empress observed this, her expression turning displeased. "Miss Li, at a palace banquet, one must mind their words and actions. You may step down." Not daring to say more, Li Yanran lowered her head and left. Jiang Ning also returned her seat. Xiao Yuji squeezed her hand, whispering, "You handled that well." After the banquet ended, Jiang Ning and Xiao Yuji left the palace together. On the way, Jiang Ning said, "I really owe it to you today. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known how to handle it." Xiao Yuji smiled. "We are husband and wife. Helping each other is only natural. No matter what happens in the future, I will always be by your side." Chapter 8. Joy of a Precious Son. Several more months passed, and Jiang Ning discovered she was pregnant. The news brought joy to the entire Prince Jing residence. Xiao Yuji was especially overjoyed, staying by Jiang Ning's side every day, attending to her with utmost care. He personally selected herbs to stabilize the pregnancy and invited the best imperial physician to examine her pulse. Jiang Ning's pregnancy symptoms were severe, with frequent nausea. Xiao Yuji watched with heartache. He prepared different dishes for her daily, hoping she could eat a little more. Seeing him busy himself for her, warmth filled Jiang Ning's heart. As time went on, Jiang Ning's belly grew larger. Moving became increasingly inconvenient, so Xiao Yuji supported her for walks in the garden every day. At night, he would tell her stories, lulling her to sleep. Finally, the day of delivery arrived. Jiang Ning was taken to the delivery room, while Xiao Yuji paced anxiously outside. He walked back and forth, his heart filled with trepidation. Pained cries came from the delivery room, wrenching Xiao Yuji's heart. He prayed silently, hoping both Jiang Ning and the child would be safe. After what felt like an eternity, the cry of a baby echoed from the room. Xiao Yuji rushed in immediately, seeing Jiang Ning lying weakly on the bed, a swaddled bundle beside her, their child. "Ninger, you've worked hard." Xiao Yuji walked to the bedside, holding Jiang Ning's hand, his eyes full of tenderness and joy. Jiang Ning smiled weakly. "The child? How is the child?" "The child is fine, a boy, very healthy." Xiao Yuji brought the baby close for Jiang Ning to see. "Look, he resembles you." Jiang Ning gazed at the child's small face, her heart overflowing with maternal love. She gently stroked the baby's cheek. "Let's give him a name." Xiao Yuji said, "Good. How about Xiao Jinyan? Jin means beautiful jade, and Yan means speech. May he be as pure as fine jade and eloquent in speech." Jiang Ning nodded. "Good. Let it be Xiao Jinyan." The birth of Xiao Jinyan brought even more liveliness to the Prince Jing residence. Xiao Yuji's first act after returning from court each day was to visit the child. He held the baby, reluctant to let go. The old prince and princess were also overjoyed, frequently visiting with many gifts for the child. Looking at everything before her, Jiang Ning's heart was full of happiness. She knew that in this life she had finally attained the happiness she desired. Chapter 9. The Marquis Estate's Fall from Grace. Just as the Prince Jing residence basked in joy, a sudden change befell the Zhenan Marquis estate. Due to a grave error in command during a military campaign, leading to heavy losses for the troops, the emperor was furious. He stripped Xiao Jingyuan of his noble title, demoting him to a commoner. The people of the Marquis estate plummeted from the clouds into the abyss. Unable to bear the blow, the Dowager Marchioness fell gravely ill. Part of the estate's property was confiscated. The remaining assets were insufficient to maintain the household's daily expenses. Servants left one after another, leaving the estate desolate and cold. Xiao Jingwan became utterly despondent, drinking himself into a stupor daily. He recalled his former glory, compared it to his current ruin, and his heart filled with regret. He regretted not cherishing Jiang Ning properly back then, regretted his own selfishness and cruelty. One day, drunk, Xiao Jingyuan staggered to the gates of the Prince Jing residence. He wanted to see Jiang Ning one last time, but was stopped by the guards. "I want to see Jiang Ning. I was her former betrothed," Xiao Jingyuan shouted. The guards, not daring to let him pass, hurried to report to Xiao Yuji and Jiang Ning. Hearing this, Xiao Yuji frowned. "Send him away. We will not see him." Jiang Ning said, "Let it be. Let him in. I wish to speak a few words with him." Xiao Jingyuan was brought into the residence. He saw Jiang Ning holding a child, Xiao Yuji standing beside her, a picture of a happy family of 3. His heart filled with even deeper regret. "Ninger, I was wrong, truly wrong. Can you forgive me?" Xiao Jingyuan wept. Seeing his wretched state, Jiang Ning felt not an ounce of pity. "Xiao Jingyuan, what was between us ended long ago. Your current predicament is entirely of your own making. Take care of yourself." Xiao Yuji held Jiang Ning's hand. "Ninger, let's go inside." The two turned and walked into the inner courtyard, leaving Xiao Jingyuan standing alone. Xiao Jingyuan watched their retreating figures, tears of regret streaming down his face. He knew that for the rest of his life he would live in remorse. Chapter 10. Everlasting Happiness. Together. Time flew by, and Xiao Jinyan gradually grew up. He was intelligent, lively, and adorable, beloved by all. Jiang Ning and Xiao Yuji raised him well. He was not only knowledgeable, but also virtuous. One day was Xiao Jinyan's 5th birthday. The Prince Jing residence hosted a grand birthday banquet, inviting many relatives and friends. At the feast, Xiao Jinyan demonstrated his calligraphy, winning everyone's praise. Jiang Ning looked at her son, a gratified smile on her face. Xiao Yuji walked to her side, taking her hand. Ninger, thank you. Thank you for giving me such a happy family. Jiang Ning turned, looking at Xiao Yuji and smiled. I must thank you too. It is you who made me experience true happiness. The two gazed at each other, their eyes brimming with affection. Sunlight spilled over them, warm and beautiful. The pain and hatred of the past life had dissipated like smoke. In this life, they had finally obtained the happiness they desired and would continue to be happy together. Years later, Xiao Jinyan passed the imperial examinations with honors, becoming an upright official. He married a gentle and virtuous lady, and they had a pair of lovely children. Jiang Ning and Xiao Yuji enjoyed a leisurely retirement. They would stroll together in the gardens daily, read, practice calligraphy, paint, and occasionally spend a few days at the farmstead outside the city. Under the evening sun, Jiang Ning leaned against Xiao Yuji's shoulder, watching the sunset glow on the horizon. Yuji, it's truly wonderful having you by my side. Xiao Yuji held her tightly. Ninger, in this life, the next life, and all lifetimes thereafter, I will always be by your side.